Hello, ladies, and welcome to Loose Pool. We've got a bit of a special edition this month, as such, as we're celebrating International Women's Day on the 8th of March, well, today. And we couldn't think of any more better people to come onto the Loose Pool than yourselves. So thank you for joining us. Obviously, Allison and Kelly. What a fantastic lineup we've got here of great, powerful women, shall I say?
Well, thank you very much. I'm Kelly's older sister, as we all know. Isn't that right, Kel?
That's exactly right. Aren't you big? Am I big fisher and you're little fisher?
Well, that's what they said in China, but that's for another discussion, probably.
That's right. That's right. Okay, yeah.
Now, it's great to be here, Emily. Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you, Emily. Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I'm going to kick off with things. Obviously, our next event at the moment, we've got Championship League pool in a couple of weeks. Kelly, you're in the lineup, Group 1. How are you feeling about it? It's literally 12 matches on each table, race to 5.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I really am, because, I mean, I've been playing constantly throughout this lockdown, but just on my own, you know, this ghost pool, which has been great, but it's going to be really strange remembering not to pick the cue ball up, remembering how to play safe. But, you know, I'm really excited. I can't wait to be in an arena again. And thank you to Matchroom for the opportunity. So, yeah, I'm excited to play against the guys too. So it's really good.
But to anyone.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just thrilled for Kelly for that opportunity, because I think the fact that it's all races to 5 can go anyone's way. And the fact that she's been playing steadily through this on the virtual tournaments is I fancy her to knock a few men to the side in this tournament.
I hope so. I hope so.
I think they're going to be under a bit of pressure with you, because you're going to be firing on all cylinders. So I'm really excited to watch it.
Well, the good thing is as well, sorry to interrupt there, but it's like normally, you know, you go there, you've got one match and you win, you're through. If you lose, you're going home. What I'm excited about is that maybe, you know, the first match could get off to a rocky start, but after 2 or 3 matches, I'll be a lot more comfortable, you know, and I really fancy, once I get comfortable, you know, anything can happen. Any damage can happen.
Right.
That's what I say.
Right. Fisher damage.
That's right.
You have this days format where we've obviously seen it with Championship League snooker, and it will be a sweaty day just looking at the league table, because you literally come last on the table and obviously you go home. The winner goes straight through to the winners group, and the remaining 5 players can go into the next day. So you're constantly looking at the table. Every rack you win goes towards it all. And, you know, there can be some ties and things like that. And that's where Nick is so good on the format, where he's sort of figuring it all out. So it will just be such a fast-paced, dynamic day where you've got every chance, Kelly. And you kind of look at that lineup of Group 1 and it's a solid, like it's a real great lineup of players, but that's including yourself though. That's not sort of putting that aside. So I'm really excited. I really just hope you come out and just absolutely thrash them.
Oh, I know. Wouldn't that be fantastic? It really, honestly, you know, and like Allison said, race to 5. And I mean, anything can happen. I mean, we saw in the last World Cup of Pool, I think it was World Pool Masters, sorry, where I come out firing against Shane, you know. And I mean, race to 5, I'm like, oh, I'm looking forward to it, really. And I do fancy that I can do some damage. I always think that, but especially having the multiple matches, I really think that'll do me good, you know, going back on the table, just not one match. I can really get warmed up, and like I say, they better watch out.
do you find that since obviously you've been playing like the ghost matches throughout lockdown, but since getting the invite, how does your practice style change now leading up to the 22nd of March?
Yeah, well, obviously I'm still on my own, so I've been, instead of just practicing ghost pool, if you like, which is what I've mainly been doing, working on the odd thing. Since I've actually had the invite, I've been practicing a lot more like kind of drills on different areas of the game, including safety, because really, you know, you do kind of look at the table and think, am I going to bank this? Am I going to make this? You know, because you're playing ghost pool, there's no safety, no defense. So now I'm just been working on that, you know, and it comes right back to you. It just takes a few more seconds processing than what it would have done prior to this. So now I've changed my practice up already. And, you know, I'm just trying to work on on the other areas that I've not been doing so up and during this lockdown period. So I even spoke to Darren yesterday, and I'm like, I want to come down and practice with you. And he's like, yeah, or maybe you can. I says, well, we're not allowed. Can we not? You know, what can we do? And it's
the COVID police going to be watching you.
I know, right? I know. I was speaking across the border of Scotland.
Out of Scotland into Yorkshire.
That's it. So.
Well, we're really excited to have you there, Kelly, and I'm loving that you're on day one as well, and that was part of one of our goals to get you to kick off Group 1 as well. So hats off to you. I'm really I'll be cheering you on from the sidelines.
Thank you.
Allison, obviously you came to Mosconi Cup with us. How did you find it? It was the first time sort of punditry, looking at that. I know you are looking to get another invite back, but we're just basically taking each event as it comes.
Yeah, of course.
But I think you did an absolutely fantastic job there, and it was great to have like a women's perspective as well, but you're also so highly respected in the industry. Did you enjoy it?
Oh, I did. I had a wonderful time. I thought it was very, very well done. The fact that you're even having all of these events, you know, and the safety of it, that was really good. And then to see all the players up close and in the practice rooms and then out on the match table and then working with Phil. And it was really fabulous. It was a really good experience for me, being the other side of Paul. And yeah, I had a fabulous time with the team. And, you know, it's a big thing to be thrown in at, you know, because it's the Mosconi Cup. And that's a huge event. Everyone's tuning in. So, you know, there were some areas that I could definitely improve on doing something like that. But overall, it was a really, really good experience for me. So I was very appreciative of it.
And what's your thoughts on sort of Team USA or both teams looking into the Mosconi Cup this December?
Well, I think it showed a lot of ill preparation in some ways, didn't it? I mean, it's hard to prepare with COVID because they couldn't play face to face, and it just seemed like Europe had a lot of a stronger, I think, mentality. I think the coaches really did well. They came together very well for the team. And, you know, it's hard because in Europe, you've got a lot of different nationalities working together. You know, and they all view things very differently. The sense of humour, everything's very different. But they gelled very well as a team, which you don't know what's going to happen with that. And then America, you know, I think over here there needs to be a lot more disciplined approach to the game, drills and good teaching. And, you know, a lot of these players are very natural type of players. And I think it showed up a little bit under pressure. You know, that it definitely showed some weaknesses in the team.
So probably like the last couple of years, looking into sort of matchroom events, actually being there on the ground and sort of more behind the scenes, how did it change your perception of how things are at matchroom sort of thing and how different the events are?
Well, it's just so well done. It's like clockwork, isn't it? From the media team, that people don't see that behind the scenes part, the preparation, you know, people assisting you. Everyone needs a backup crew, and I think the behind the scenes was really impressive. Obviously Sky Sports, your TV production doing that event was amazing. There's so much that goes into it and a lot of money being spent behind the scenes that nobody gets to see. They just see the end product. So it was very, very impressive, very professionally run, probably the most impressive events that I've been at.
Thank you,
yeah,
Allison.
we're grateful. We're grateful in Paul that Matchroom has really stepped into it. And obviously you've upped the amount of events. So I know you really believe in Paul in your heart of hearts there, and you do snooker events, you do all sorts of other sports that Kelly and me might participate in. We just said earlier in netball, table tennis, tiddlywinks if you want to, you know. But, you know, it's great that you're involved because that just brings the professionalism up. Hopefully that attracts corporate sponsors outside of our industry as well into it. And puts it at a level it should be recognised at worldwide.
So how does that change things, especially for, say, like yourselves, like Allison and Kelly, looking to your sort of future? I mean, what's kind of on your cards, Allison? Are you looking at maybe coming back and looking at commentary work or things like that? Or is the Duchess of Doom making a comeback?
You never know with me.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, yeah, Kelly's like, that's true. You never know with me. I think it just depends if I get a little bit inspired. At the moment, I don't see the, comeback, and, it'd have to be something very special for me to participate, I think. I loved the commentary. I love being involved in pool, for sure. Whatever it is, I love being involved in the game and the players, because Kelly and me, we've known each other since we were teenagers, haven't we?
Yeah, well, I was a teenager.
No, you were about 13, weren't you?
I was 13, yeah. 12 or 13 when we first met, yeah.
Well, I wasn't a teenager then, but I like to pretend I was.
I know. I was just
but anyway, we've kind of grown up together and gone through a lot.
Yeah.
We, laughter, tears. We've had some great times, a lot of stories. And, that's the pool world for you. So it's something that I don't think I'll ever leave. I'm always there. I'll be there, whether it be in the background or the foreground. We don't know. It remains to be seen.
We've even talked about me pushing Allison around in whatever kind of walk age she needs.
Yes.
If she needs to, while she plays pool, if she really wants to continue that long. I'll be behind her pushing her, and then I'll be catching up a few years later, and somebody can have to push me.
Then we get electric chairs, Kelly, together.
All right, okay, cool. No problem. We've got it sussed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, here's something then. So it's safe to say that you guys have a very good bond, and you've known each other for a long time, probably know how each other play as well. Allison said that she'll only make a comeback for something special. So let's see how this goes. So we've got the World Cup of Pool that's here in June. The UK, so our host nation always has 2 teams represent. So should we put it that Great Britain B is Kelly Fisher and Allison Fisher? Dynamic duo. Let's go.
You better get that cue out.
I better get it out now.
Right, Allison, is that special enough for you?
Could be.
Yeah.
I do have vacation booked in June, so I have to...
I'm going to kill you.
I know, you're going to kill me. I know, but it's already booked. That's what I'm saying. Emily, I have a vacation booked, so it has to be before or after my vacation.
You better bloody cancel it, Allison. I ain't moving the dates for your vacation.
Oh, no. I'm going to have to look, Kelly.
I'm going to kill you.
I know you are. What date is it, Emily?
Hang on.
No. What date's your vacation?
I'm not telling.
Wait, when's our...
I'm going to call D. I'm going to call D.
How do I not know these dates off by heart? Well, hang on, I've got some paperwork here somewhere.
I think mine's the 19th to the 26th.
Hang on.
You've had too many vacations this year. Never mind.
I know, but that's right. That's,
The 5th, to the 10th of June.
What?
5th to the 10th of June.
I was supposed to be deep sea fishing then, but I think I can put that aside. Seriously.
You're dead.
So
I'm really pleased that Allison just ruined that surprise.
But I love it. I appreciate it. I mean.
I know, right?
Kelly, that'd be fun.
Kelly, would you like to nominate someone else to pair with?
I know, right? Let me have a think about that. Let me just check my diary and let me see what.
Who's in your contact list?
Well, I'll have to check my phone, Allison.
Look, all jokes aside,
that would be great.
Look, we're here in the UK. We get 2 teams for the host nation. We're going to get Great Britain A, Great Britain B. So let's put Fisher team in, the dynamic duo.
Yeah,
and you've got until June now, so you both know exactly how each other plays, and I think you could be a strong little team there.
Absolutely.
Kelly,
get that cue out. Yes.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Dust the cobwebs off.
Yeah, I'm going to. I'm going to
take the cover off your pool table.
Put a new tip on. Put a new tip on.
So that's interesting. What do you think about World Cup Pool, Kelly? Do you think something like that for you and Allison, you've got a good chance at?
Well, I mean, absolutely. The last thing that any of them guys want is to be playing us. That's the last thing they want. They're all like thinking, well, it could be a good draw because they're the underdogs, but then they're thinking live on TV, we should win. The pressure will be immense and so intense for them that I think it's just going to be, you know, a really good, and we'll just go in there. Me and Ali, I know exactly how we'll be. We just keep each other chilled and relaxed, and we'll just go and have fun and hopefully beat up on them and, you know, get them even more nervous than what they already were.
You know, and also if you look at pairings, it doesn't mean, like, let's say you had two guys who are world champions together, doesn't mean they're going to play well together.
That's right.
We've seen that. We've seen everyone miss balls that you think, oh, there's no way they would miss that. It just happens. It's pressure and
the chemistry.
You know, the chemistry of the team. Yeah. We've definitely got that, old Kel and me.
We have, absolutely. Because like you say, Ali, with two men, they could be both world champions or top two in their country, whatever. But one always seems to put the other one under a bit more pressure, I feel. You always notice a dominant one, you know, and I think that often is what, the chemistry where you see that kind of what the problem is. So hopefully, hey, Ali, we'll be fine.
Yeah, we will.
Pop that ball.
Yeah, you'll be saying that to me. Ali, the pocket's there. Pop that ball now.
Well, happy International Women's Day, ladies.
Thank
I
you.
think it's a great little surprise.
That's brilliant. I'm excited.
Me too.
Good. So let's talk a little bit about, it's obviously, it's important to touch about women's sport and especially obviously in pool. I think from the both of you, where do you see women's pool sort of, how's it sort of progressing for the future? I think probably a lot of people thought that, you know, it's obviously felt a lot bigger back in the past, but there's been less tournaments and things like that. So where do you kind of envision it really going, and does it leave you with much confidence for the future?
Kelly?
Well, I know, it's a good question.
Over to Kelly on that one.
Thank you, Ali. Thank you. Well, I think that, you know, like you said, years ago, for sure, it was certainly, there was more events. It was, you know, on TV, more popular, if you like. And I certainly feel that in Asia, over in China, it become, you know, very big at one point. In fact, we really thought, didn't we, Ali, that it was going to explode even more than it did, actually, in the end. Yeah. And I think these last few years before COVID, even, we've noticed, of course, you know, the economy hit in America and things declined there. And then, like I said, it did definitely expand in China, but not to the explosion that we thought. And now I'm seeing a decline over there as well, slightly less events. The money's not really increasing. It just doesn't seem, it seems less events, even in their own leagues, if you like, and the CBSA events and stuff, it's got less and less. So it kind of is a little bit concerning, to be honest. And then COVID hit. So I don't know. Emily, have you any more surprises?
Not right now.
Let me give you a little bit of background on it too. When I came over at a really good time to America in 1995, and we had ESPN coverage. So we had about at least a decade of TV coverage on ESPN, and we had 25 hours of live action, you know, on that channel, and reruns and everything. We were one of the very few sports that was on TV. Always got good ratings. And I think, to what Kelly was saying, I think wherever the women play in the world, they always get really good ratings above the guys for whatever reason. And so it's not that. I think just pool in general has struggled. I don't think it's women's pool. Now, there are plenty, as we've seen in the virtual tournaments, of really good European players progressing now, I think. I've seen that over the last few years. Yep. You know, we've got Christina Tkach from Russia. You've got Margaret. She's from Bulgaria. I always get it.
Belarus.
Yeah. I knew it was a B in there somewhere.
Yeah.
And there's quite a few really good female European players. Plenty of players in Asia that are really good. It's just bringing them all together. So hopefully that's something you might be interested in the future, Emily. Nod, nod, wink, wink.
Well,
surprise, surprise.
I'll tell you what would be interesting: a top 8 or a top 16 in the world, like a select women's event, mixed doubles, you know, opens. I think you could have a little string of events there.
Teams, you know.
Teams.
It's even we try to be, even though we have like a huge passion in pool and got so many ideas on what we can do for the sport, but we try to be realistic at the end of the day as well. And I think we struggle with trying to set up like a women's only tournament and things like that. And for us, the first move is to start combining everything together and making everything open. So then it seems like it's a fairer opportunity. And I get that there's so many obviously responses that we get where it's, you know, let's do a women's only Mosconi Cup and things like that. In my personal opinion, I think that combining and to be able to look at 5 years time and to have a female on each of the teams is actually, we've made a bigger step and a bigger leap and actually it being competitive than if we were doing a female only Mosconi Cup, because I think opening it out to everyone is like a fairer and more realistic goal that we can try and set. So it's just trying to, like Championship League Pool, having 3 female participants, you know, obviously being Kelly, 2 others that are in the mix as well. I'm trying to think who we've announced so I don't ruin anything. So I'm just trying to, it's great to be able to open the door. And for instance, we've got the World Pool Championship that's obviously open as well, and we're going to make sure that we set aside invitations for women as well in that event. And I think the only way we can really start doing this is by actually opening up all of our events, so it's proving on the rankings and things like that. I mean, Championship League Pool, we're looking at producing the winner of that event into the World Pool Masters, and so there's always an opportunity or an open door to get into one of our other events as such. And I think that's one thing that we're trying to do, but it's just trying to be realistic about, you know, how many up and coming players there are. Obviously we've seen sort of Christina. I haven't really seen much of her play in our things. I've only really seen Siming Chen at our US Open event, and obviously Kelly as well at the World Pool Masters. And so it's just trying to sort of open it all up. And like, do you genuinely think that you guys have a strong chance where we were in sort of an open field like that, like in the World Pool Masters, Kelly?
Truthfully, I think that, you know, of course, any female player can, in a one-off match, beat any male player. But, you know, I mean, definitely the odds are against any female player to, for example, win World Pool Masters. You know, not only are the odds against us because it's normally only one woman in a field of men or 2 women in a field full of men. That's obviously the odds are against you before you even start. But, you know, realistically, there is a difference in the level of play slightly, not as much as snooker, not as much as other sports, but there certainly is a difference in the level from men to women. And I know it's not a physical sport, and I do, you know, think it's great having the women come into your invitational events and stuff like that. And for example, me and Ali playing in the World Cup of Pool, I think, you know, that's fantastic. As far as open events and, you know, realistically, am I going to qualify through or win or get through, you know, in a field of 128 men? You know, I don't know. And that's why I think, you know, for me, I vote for women's events simply like because of other sports, you know, whether it's physical or not, you know, like tennis and stuff like that. They'll play doubles event, mixed doubles. But as far as me trying to go and win a men's event, you know, that's where, you know, so.
We don't have a strength in numbers is basically what you're saying.
Yeah, there is. That's right. And the level as well. The level isn't there because of that. You know, over the years, we haven't had the strength in numbers, for sure.
Do you think that by now increasing that step by step, that we're sort of creating that opportunity a little bit more? It's kind of stepping that chance up a little bit further. So it just gradually keeps sort of setting the bar up, I guess. I mean, you never know where we can be in a couple of years' time.
You know, Emily, I think it's fantastic. First of all, you know, that what Matchroom are doing for our sport. Without them, I'm not sure where we'd be right now. So I think it's fantastic. And I think it's great idea. I think it's great that you're including women, because realistically you can't do separate. I think it's great that you are bringing that together, you know, and including the women and your vision down the line. Of course, I would love to say to you, yeah, absolutely. 5 years from now, you're going to have Chen Ximin. She's still only young. I'm not. But, you know, you're going to have a younger Chen Ximin coming through and winning one. Do I think it's realistic? Possibly not. But I think it definitely will increase the chances the more events you have and the more women that do participate. And especially from Asia, they're starting very young. You know, you're going to see there's always new players coming through there. Yeah. But I won't be being honest with you if I weren't to say that I hope that Matchroom in a year or two from now see the standard, the talent that we really do have on our own merit, you know, to really think. And really, I do believe and I do feel that with your production and your professionalism, that you could take the women's game on their own merit as well as the men's and do exactly what you're doing and have double fisted wonders, you know. So I do believe it does merit its own. However, if you see that that's the way it has to go to get that, I do hope that it ends up with that. But you know, the progression from here till now, I think, you know, whatever Matchroom have to do, we'll try our best and we'll keep fighting to beat them men. But for sure, I hope to see us on our own and our own championships, US Opens. Yeah.
I think you're right, though. Strength in numbers as well, is to actually see more coming through the ranks, sort of thing, and to actually see more women present at all of these sort of events. But if without sort of us, what other sort of events, well, women-only events are there? I know it's quite a naive question of mine, but it's just I'm just trying to understand a little bit more. Without COVID.
Yeah, sorry. Without COVID, WPBA used to have, when I first came over, about 12 events a year. So it was one every month and it was really, really good. So you would be practicing and really getting on a roll with that. And then there were invitationals, weren't there, Kelly? Taiwan, we had the Mosconi Cup every year for 20 years.
That was fantastic, wasn't it? Yeah.
Much like your league, it was a round robin event. That was one of our favourite events.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then other ones, like they used to have the Champion of Champions. These are special invitations.
Winner take all, 4 players.
Yeah, 4 players, races to 4, and then one game playoff if it was one city. Yeah. That was very exciting. It
was exciting. Yeah, it was good. And ESPN all covered it every time, right?
Yeah, we had a lot of events. And then 2008 hit, we lost, WPBA lost TV, lost casinos, and then it plummeted for only about 2 to 3 events a year, which was awful, which at that time Asia was taking off. So we, as international players, had some events to play in, which the CBSA and World Pool Association, I don't know, how many events would you say in the year?
Well, there was like 3 major events, but then they had the CBSA international opens. So it was the CBSA, and they had their own ranking. And I was a diehard, and I played in all their events and got my ranking up to number 1 in the CBSA Chinese rankings. But Emily, you would actually be astounded if you saw the amount of girls, and I say girls because most of them are 12, 30, and the standard of play, you would be amazed. I mean, from Go on.
No, go on, Kelly. Sorry, finish your thought. I've got a button.
Shut up, Allison. I'm joking.
From what you've seen. Go on, what are you saying now?
Please, can I speak? There was a particular match, right? And it was Lou Sarsar. You know Lou Sarsar. She's a 3-time world champion, about 21 years old back then, right? She's an old woman.
Tell her the one when she
24 or 25. She's old.
She is. So, tell her the one when she beat Karen when she was 15, 16.
Yeah, so that was a match. We were sitting watching it. So she's 15.
We've never heard of her at this point.
Heard of her. A little Chinese girl walks in. She's playing Karen Kaur in the world final. She runs 6 racks in a row. Karen didn't even get to the table. No.
1 minute, you've missed a bit. Karen was up 6'3" or something, and she ran a six-pack to beat us. Yeah.
No, this is what happened. She ran a 6-pack off the bat. Karen comes in, misses, and then she runs the set out. The next three games.
That's right.
It was unbelievable. We were like, the jaw dropped.
And she was laughing as she was walking around the table because she just didn't miss, kept running out, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, she was like very relaxed because no pressure, and she's like laughing, making all the balls. 16, world champion. So my point being, she broke and ran all these racks from the get-go. So she, like, the capability is there.
You won't believe. And the amount, they've got numbers.
Yeah,
they do have them in numbers, because you've got more women playing in China than you have men as a whole, apart from your recreational players.
Yeah,
simply because the man has to provide and go to work, so there can't be pool players just as easily as women. That the young girls get taken young, and you've definitely got definitely. Seriously. That's right. They're trained 12 hours a day, kind of thing. They're in that pool room practicing.
So what's happening in America for women in pool? So there isn't any women-only tournaments, or
pre-COVID it was they had about 5 or 6 scheduled on the calendar, and then it all halted.
Who does those?
WPBA. Well, Women's Professional Billiard Association.
And so they promoted themselves and put the events up as such.
Yes. Yeah. Some of them are in pool rooms, some in casinos. It varies.
We have a signature event or a classic event. A classic event's in a casino. Am I right, Ali? And a signature event could be in a pool room, which is half points, and normally half prize money. Or you've got the casino full points and full prize money.
Yeah, and then we have majors, US Opens, National Tour Championship, things like that.
I'm just trying to think like how we try and help more, but again with my realistic hat on, how we do that step by step sort of thing. And I think our first step is to make all of our events open and to try and obviously increase the invitational events, but then on the events that are scheduled to happen, say like obviously after COVID, when that comes out, how do we help that more, and how do we generate more participation, say obviously, and generate some more players?
Emily, what we'll do is we'll have a chat in Milton Keynes, right? and then when me and Ali are playing in the World Pool Masters, we'll get an even bigger chat. We'll solve the whole
World Cup of Pool.
I think the World Cup of Pool.
We'll solve the world problems there.
We'll come up with a right plan. All right.
I do think that any sort of younger female who's loves pool and wants to get into it, to tune into the World Cup of Pool, to see that they've got like an aspiring team such as yourselves to look at and say, oh, actually, we've got a chance to do something here. But I appreciate there's probably more grassroots and stepping stones that we're quite not channeling into. So it's just in a realistic mindset, how do we help to try and obviously generate some more female players? So then we can obviously make our events a lot more open. It's just trying to see how we can help in that respect, and to try and just inspire a bit more amongst female players.
Yeah, there's lots of women who love the game. They just need to see some role models, and like you're saying, participation, because that's how we all started. I started watching snooker on television, and I thought, and I didn't think about the gender of it because I was so young back then, but I was watching them and I thought, I'd love to do that. I want to be a snooker player. And it's the same for women, watching female role models out there, and you're creating the stars in the sport. Some of them are already stars, but just something to aspire to, and that's what will encourage more female participation.
And just a touching base on sort of role models, obviously an important part I think that we should mention is obviously Jeanette Lee, who's been such a fantastic role model, and she just in her own right, regardless of women in pool, has been like a celebrity within the industry regardless. I've never personally actually had the pleasure to to meet her and sit down and chat to her like I've chatted to you guys, sort of thing. So, which I'm gutted that I've never really had that chance, because I'm sure I sort of would have loved to have heard all of this, any stories or anything like that. So it's just, and it's obviously such devastating news for everyone. Such a strong figure, obviously, within our industry. I'm guessing you guys, like Allison, you've probably known her.
You know, we've all known Jeanette over the many years, and what an incredible well, she is a celebrity of pool, basically.
Absolutely.
She's the most well-known pool player worldwide, probably, the Black Widow.
Yeah.
And to be struck down with stage 4 ovarian cancer is just, it's mind-blowing. I can't stop thinking about it, actually. It's really, I know. It's a real big wake-up call. I mean, it's so sad. She has done more for pool, I think, bringing it into the spotlight. There's not probably anyone out there who doesn't know Jeanette Lee, even outside of the pool world too.
That's right.
Is, you know,
she's worked very hard throughout her career with back. You know, she's had a lot of health issues. She had surgeries on her back, and you wouldn't know. You know, she comes and she plays, and you wouldn't know. And she travelled and worked her ass off, basically, excuse my language.
She's promoted every aspect of it, hasn't she?
That's right. And that were all, you know, what I suppose many people didn't realise at the time was it wasn't only promoting herself and promoting her business, if you like, it was actually, it promoted pool all over the world. Yeah, the sport completely, So, I mean, and she's, you know, like I say, she's, you wouldn't have known do anything wrong if she had a back problem, or she just had surgery last week. You wouldn't have known. So I think both me and Ali have said that if anybody can actually fight this, then I'd definitely put her in front of anybody else I can think of, because, you know, she'll fight.
It's not just one thing. She's over many years, isn't she? Millions of surgeries.
I mean. And we've got some stories, and we laughed, Ali, honestly, and that time on the aeroplane, honestly.
We'll tell you those when we see you, Emily.
Yeah, okay.
We've had some laughs. But like I say, you really, what a strong woman. What a strong woman. Lovely, good fun, and very good businesswoman. But she's done pool world proud, you know, and then she still will. Don't you worry. There's many years left of her. Don't you worry.
Well, what a vital person to obviously mention on International Women's Day. Like you said, definitely. She's such a strong figure to everyone, and such a role model for all of the younger players coming through. It's like even just people that are not in pool know of the Black Widow, and that's how I have perceived it before. We want to try and do any sort of competitions or fundraisers for anything. I thought that the idea of the fundraiser that's been put together is such a great idea that's been set up, and I think it's just inspiring that so many people can come together in situations like this to try and sort of work together.
Definitely.
I'm doing a fundraiser match in 45 minutes.
Oh, are you?
I'm doing one in 45 minutes. It's myself, I'm trying to remember here.
Is it Jasmine,
David Alkedi, and Joshua Filler.
How did you forget Joshua?
Because there's 8 total, and my 4 is them. So I can't try to remember yet. So
Killer Filler.
Just to touch base on some of the other female players that are coming through the ranks, there's someone who I keep seeing, and I've never actually had the pleasure to watch her play, is someone like April Larson, who whenever I see on like social media, she's always like, oh, I'm going to do this, and she always seems like she's really determined. I've got no idea if she's any bloody good or not. But she's someone that I would love to see at like a US Open or something like that. Just sort of younger generation coming through. Just seems like she's passionate, and there's obviously Pia Filler. I mean, if she doesn't win a tournament after being with Josh, then she must be getting all of his secrets.
I wish I had a Josh Filler to practice with. I wish I had a Josh Filler to practice with.
She should be world champion soon.
Yeah, I know, but there's so many people sort of coming through
Yeah.
the ranks. It's just trying to bring it all together, isn't it, really?
Yeah. April's a great person. She's so positive.
She is. She's
and
lovely,
fun.
isn't she?
She loves the sport. She's great to have in the sport. You know, we've known her for years. You know, she's not that old now, but we've known her since she was a junior player, and always positive, never a negative word, and fun.
Very bubbly and fun, isn't she? Yeah, she's lovely. Yeah, she is. Yeah. But I do think, like you say, some inspiring ones are coming through from Europe. You've got like such as April from America, and you know, there's a whole world of Asian players that from Taiwan, Philippines,
Thailand, probably,
China.
Yeah.
China, I've heard, have got since COVID. Apparently, there's 3 new players that you've never seen can play better than any of the others, apparently coming through right now.
Oh my gosh, they're knocking them out, aren't they? Robots.
Playing Chinese pool. I watched her. She never missed the ball playing Chinese pool. Boom, boom, boom. She looks about 9.
Yeah, I know. It's getting younger.
She might be 15, but she looks 9. I'm sorry, but you know.
Europe.
So yeah, there's a whole world out there of players that you won't believe, Emily, honestly. But it's great what you're doing. I really do appreciate it. We really appreciate it, Ali, don't we?
Yes, we do.
For the game, for the women's game, for the game, our sport as a whole. I think you've done fantastic for the men's side of the sport too. You know, because turn it around 10 years ago, or not even, and it was very different. So I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's just trying to professionalize everyone a little bit. I don't think some people see how much behind the scenes work goes into, I mean, poor Phoebe in the office, she sits there late at night with all of these emails like non-stop of, can I do this, can I do that, of organizing players. And some of our other sports, some of the players are just so efficient and organized and know when to turn up and things like that. And we're used to it on the snooker. They're used to turning up at Milton Keynes doing their COVID test. Whereas Championship League pool, we're coming back around and going, oh, okay, we've got pool players back. None of them have been through the bubble situation like we did at the Mosconi. Whereas obviously all the snooker players, they know what's happening now because they're just doing it event after an event. I guess all we can try and do is try and create some kind of calendar where players are sort of just going here, there, and everywhere. That's one of our aims as such, but we won't run before we can walk, I guess. I guess we could probably finish it on, I think what would be great is if any younger girls that are watching this, if the both of you could summarize in a few words any sort of like motivation or anything like that for any of the younger that are sort of trying to come out of COVID and look towards potentially any events that could be coming up or any practice or anything like that that may help them.
Go on, Ali, I'll let you go first on this one.
All right, well, I think there's so much information online now, like the great players producing information, you know, because they've been there, seen it, done it, a lot of experience. So take heed in their advice. Lots of drills. There's lots of drills online, such as Darren, for example, doing a load. There's Neil's doing his.
We never had that, did we? So
yeah,
it's really good now.
Available online when we were growing up. So I think it's amazing what is on the internet now that can inspire you and help you, you know, and just follow certain players. There's a lot of great role models out there in the sport right now. And I think just that alone, all that information out there, it's there for you for the taking. And then it's up to the individual people to go out and have the discipline to do the things that the champions do. You're not born overnight, you know, it takes work. It takes a lot of effort and work, as you know, Kelly, and I know over the years. Thousands of balls are potted, repeat, trying to create good habits all the time and keep mental clarity and strong mental game. There's a lot of aspects to it. And I think, you know, there's, as I said, a lot of information. People like Kelly playing virtual tournaments. She's out there all the time, no matter what. If it was a world war, she'd be out there playing.
Well, love for the game, passion for the game.
That's right. But it starts there, doesn't it? A love for it.
It does.
If you have a love
Absolutely.
for something, you're going to play it.
You know, and I hope that for example, you know, the Champions League and the World Cup of Paul, me and Ali, you know, things like that for girls out there can, like what you really said, and what I know what your passion is, Emily, behind this as well, is for that to inspire the new up and coming players. And how can it not, you know, really? I mean, when I was young, I remember seeing the mixed doubles in snooker, Ali, where you partnered with Steve Davis.
I was with Steve.
Yeah, you know, and I was very young. I don't think at that time I thought, oh, I want to, because I think I liked football then. But, you know, I think some years later when I did start playing, I remember, you know, that kind of thing. And I wanted to be involved in that. So, you know, certainly I think it can only do good across the board. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And for young girls watching, I mean, if it was me, that would be for sure. It would make me go on that practice table. It would make me go online and look, like Ali was saying, and want to improve my game because I want to be there, you know. Yes, so exactly. I think it's all good. And, you know, the more we do, more women are in your events, the better we can have, our odds will be, and the better we'll do. And, you know, the better we do, then, you know, it can all funnel from there, and it'll inspire more young girls, and you'll see the standard grow.
Definitely.
So, I think it's great.
Well, I think that's a perfect way to end it. Thank you very much for joining us on our special women's edition of Loose Pool. I should absolutely love it. So thank you, ladies. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
No, thank you, Emily. And great. Looking forward to that doubles, Ali. Get that cue.
Yes, get that cue out.